I'll begin, I think. Right, I want to welcome everyone to the public meeting of the Mayor's Council of April 25th, 2024. First item is the adoption of the agenda. Seconded, all those in favor, opposed, carried. Approval of public meeting minutes, move second, all those in favor, opposed, carried. And the other ones, move second, all those in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, public delegates, you have 3 minutes to present to council. We have 4 people who wish to speak today. First is Morgan. Is Morgan here?
Stepped out for like 5 seconds.
3, 2, 1. Sorry, Morgan. Thanks for playing Mayor's Council. All right, we'll go to number 2. Oh, Morgan? Hi, welcome. You have 3 minutes to present to the Mayor's Council.
Thank
Lucky
you.
I'm here, Morgan.
Catch my breath for a second here.
Lucky I'm here, you would have missed out.
My name is Morgan Nichols Figueredo. I'm speaking today for the businesses and restaurants along Halifax Street, Douglas Road, East First Avenue, and north on Boundary Road with respect to opposing the Burnaby City staff's suggested alternate route for the proposed Purple Line bus rapid transit. We are more than 4,000 residents in the towers. We are more than 150 businesses. We are more than 135 affordable senior homes in Rideau Manor. I have previously emailed each of the members of the Mayor's Council our opposition to the alternate route, but I wanted to be here today to show you that our opposition is not simply words on a page, but real people whose lives will be turned upside down if this alternate route is approved. We do support TransLink's recommended Purple Line BRT route up Willingdon and down Hastings. The Hastings route is a well-researched and proper route that the TransLink planners came up with. However, the alternate route is a quick, off-the-cuff city staff-suggested route that was asked for by the Burnaby City Council for politically motivated reasons to appease the Heights Merchants Association. The BRT will not improve public transportation along the alternate route. It is already serviced by both the SkyTrain and buses on Lougheed Highway. Unlike TransLink's proposed Hastings route, the alternate route has no back alleys for servicing, for deliveries, for staff parking, access, garbage, or recycling. Unlike the Hastings route, the alternate route does not have hundreds of free city-owned parking spots in city-owned and managed lots on the ends of each block. Unlike the Hastings route, with blocks of residential side streets in every direction to park on, the alternate route only has Lougheed Highway, Willingdon, and Gilmore Street, all of which you cannot park on. On First Avenue, they have no alleys or lanes. These industrial properties and businesses rely entirely upon First Avenue for driveway access, staff parking, customer parking, deliveries, tow trucks, and garbage trucks. The street is an extension to their businesses, and removing the parking and restricting access is a death sentence to them. Another point to consider is the steep grade of East First, making it impossible for a bus to go up or down in winter conditions, a problem Willingdon and East Hastings will not have. What I need to remind this Mayor's Council of today is that the businesses along East Hastings can and do function very well already during rush hour when the curb lanes are restricted to buses. The alternate route, however, has no additional parking anywhere, and if you remove the street parking, it cannot function at all. Unlike the Hastings route that only wants the additional parking during business hours, the alternate route actually needs its parking for people to live 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. The Purple Line BRT must go up Willingdon and along East Hastings, the only logical route to get the best return on the public investment. There is no alternate route, just a hastily thrown together city staff idea with little research or understanding of its consequences, and that is no way to plan regional transportation. Thank you very much. Sorry for rushing, I'm a little out of breath.
No problem, thank you. Next speaker is Arden. Okay, next is Nathan. Welcome, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chair and members. I presume I'm speaking about the 2023 bus speed report. In 2023, the bus speed budget was 8 million, but only 3.5 million was spent. This report that you have is still based on 2022 data instead of the 2023 data. The 2023 data will be released next month in May. So let's consider both reports together next month. My suggestion is to expand what was done mostly in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s in the city of Vancouver that saved up to 25 buses during the rush hour. And that was eliminating parking on all trolley bus routes during rush hours and also provide more bus lanes either during rush hour or all day. The trolleys are the workhorse of our system. They carry 25% of the regional riderships. Let's concentrate just on them. Unless the city of Vancouver City Council is involved and if necessary overrule their staff, very little will be achieved. We need consistent transit priorities on all the trolley bus routes. Over the last few years, we had many variations that are inconsistent. TransLink operating companies need to know how fast buses can move on various corridors. The average speed over all hours of the trolley bus routes, as reported in the 2022 TSPR study, is from a low of 10 kilometers per hour to a high of 20. However, most routes operate much lower during rush hour, about 6 kilometers per hour to 16. We can increase the average speed if we can increase this average speed during the rush hour to 20 kilometers per hour for most trolley routes, we could save at least 15 more trolley buses in addition to the previously 25 buses that we saved from previous years. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Our final speaker is Michael.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. My name is Michael Hall, and I represent Movement Metro Vancouver Transit Riders. I'm here today to urge the Mayor's Council to vote unanimously in favor to receive item 4.2 on the agenda and immediately work with municipal counterparts to urgently implement the proposed investments within it and not just within 3 years. Metro Vancouver has long been a region like others that were shaped by shared modes of transportation, national railways, interurbans, streetcars, and now buses, C-Bus, and SkyTrain, hopefully a gondola. The region and the people in it have embraced public transit like few other places in North America have. 1 million people use the transit system each week. TransLink is ranked approximately 5th in North America in terms of system-wide transit ridership, with 2/3 of all these trips involving a bus. Metro Vancouver is just 34th largest metropolitan area in terms of population. We punch way above our weight. We should be proud of of the system that's been built, but it's slowly failing us more and more each year. Buses are full, buses are stuck or crawling, and the people on those buses are relegated to being an afterthought when streets and transportation networks are designed. Every mayor and councillor here has incredible power to remedy this, and it's not your ability to tax or your opportunities to lobby government. It's your ability to allocate finite road space that make up huge portions of our increasingly densifying cities. This road space is at a premium, and the effect on congestion on buses has been endlessly acknowledged by TransLink staff and mayors. This finite road space is often used to facilitate just 10 to 15 cars traversing an intersection light cycle while a bus full of 50, 80, or 100 people gets stuck and is left behind to wait. Tell me, what is being prioritized with that incredible power? Municipal leaders shouldn't be campaigning for billions of dollars worth of rapid transit without first dedicating road space to help try and fix the problem, or at least alleviate it. If our busiest corridors have enough ridership demand to warrant rapid transit studies, coordinated campaigns, email blasts, and mayoral envoys to Ottawa to try and secure billions of dollars in federal transit money, then those corridors deserve dedicated bus lanes in the interim. This would cost pennies. Hastings Street in Burnaby, for example, a route being studied for what will be a much-needed multi-billion-dollar Burrard Inlet Rapid Transit project, has 5 local bus routes, a very busy peak bus route, 1 existing rapid bus, and 1 proposed rapid bus. Yet, it only has a part-time HOV lane. We need to do better in the meantime, not just on Hastings, and this includes the very fiscally responsible measures that can be completed in the very near term. Bus lanes. An efficient bus network that is truly valued and respected by politicians and city staff does many things. It shifts mode share and reduces greenhouse gas emissions. It moves more people on finite road space than private vehicles ever could. It increases access to employment, commerce, and leisure. It makes communities quieter, more livable by reducing vehicle traffic. It makes our dangerous roads safer, and it enables lower costs of living through opportunity to reduce car dependency. Please vote in favor of item 4.2, and Councillor Kirby-Young and Mayor Hurley, please urge your respective councils to implement these plans. While these corridors may be limited in the number of municipalities they serve, they are some of the busiest corridors with some of the most intense transit service in the region. Focusing money on the most congested corridors benefits the entire region, as a bus saved is a bus saved, and that's a bus that could be deployed elsewhere. The regional transit system and the million people each week that use it will benefit. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, there's no report of the chair for this meeting. It'll take us to 4.1, Bus Speed and Reliability Report, Bus Priority Vision.
Thank you very much. Joining me today is Matt Craig, the Director of System Planning, and we have 2 reports. We'll speak to the first one first. For 5 to 8 years, we've been focused on trying to reduce delay to buses in this region and reduce delay to the people who take buses. We've done a lot of analytical work. We've provided multiple reports to this body on the analytical work that shows where the delay is the worst. And this report is a follow-up to the analytics we provided in about 6 months ago to outline, more on what are we going to do about it and what are we doing about it, and set out our bus priority vision. So Matt will speak to that.
Great.
This is it.
Great. Great. Thanks to be here. Great to be here. I'm Matt Craig, Director of System Planning at TransLink. So included in your agenda package is the final 2023 Bus Speed and Reliability Report, which we've been releasing in sections. The report itself was developed over the past year or so with significant input from many of your staff. We started with the first section titled The Delay in February of last year. This section identified the problem. Why is bus delay an issue, and how does it impact our customers, our operations, and our costs? You're all aware of the significant financial challenges we have to improve bus service in our region. We're currently spending over $80 million each year due to delay. This first section identified where that delay is. Last summer, we released the second part, Bus Priority Infrastructure and Gaps, with a focus on solutions in our toolkit, our experience with implementing those solutions, and where there are gaps in bus priority. Today's edition is the third and final section and is all about where and how we might focus our energies and our investments in the future. All of this requiring close collaboration with our partners, that's you, who manage the roadways. So our Access for Everyone plan has a significant focus on bus service. We know that frequent service can help achieve our goal of making transit the most convenient choice for longer trips. We also know that reliable bus service that's more competitive with driving plays a key role in people's choice to use transit. The Access for Everyone plan calls for significant expansion in bus priority, focusing on services with higher levels of investment, particularly the entire frequent transit network. The newest section of the Bus Speed and Reliability Report includes a conceptual bus priority vision that establishes a shared understanding of the extent, where to look, and types of bus priority solutions across the network. We're actively working with the region on additional investments in bus priority, including bus rapid transit, And my next agenda item will focus on existing high delay corridor projects. The vision really helps identify where we want to focus next. So how did we develop this vision? We worked closely with our Regional Transportation Advisory Committee made up of staff from across the local governments in the region. We used data and we assessed really three things. Where is there a strong case for bus priority? Namely, where do we see delay that is impacting both our customers and our operational cost? Secondly, we looked where are the roadway conditions that would make bus priority feasible. This includes looking at other networks like goods movement and active transportation. And then finally, where can we maximize our future investments in service? So the vision itself identifies where and how we want to focus our attention over the coming years. Corridors are assigned categories of intensity ranging from low to very high, corresponding to the relative application of appropriate types of bus priority solutions. Our work doesn't end with the vision, though. Implementing the vision will be ongoing and require further work with local staff and councils to better define the specific solutions that will work in each context. Municipal staff and council support will be key in turning this vision into reality. We look forward to working with you going forward.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Mayor Sager.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Thanks very much. I'm just wondering in the bus movement, so do we have funding available for little communities like West Van to help synchronize our traffic lights? Would that fall under your area?
We have, with the now approved investment plan, we've got really two programs within bus priority. One is focusing on high delay corridors and the other is looking at focused on hotspots. And really things like signals are eligible for both of those programs for funding. So we'd work with your staff on identifying where's the delay and then what are the solutions, of which signal timing can be part of those solutions.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councillor Asmussen.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. Similar comment. I've talked a while about light signalization, high volume road networks, but also on mid to low and also connecting through cities because we need light signalization between cities if that can be worked out to help improve the flow. On your second slide, you show the red bus priority bus lane up to an intersection. In all these intersections, are we putting in a queue jumper also that when that bus gets up there that it can leave first through the intersection?
I wouldn't want to say all of these, but absolutely wherever we can, we know that those kind of queue jumpers where you've got a bus that really gets ahead of all the traffic, particularly where there's lots of turning movements, can be really successful.
Oh, it'd be very successful. It gets buses up, gets them ahead of that traffic, and if they're pulling into a stop later, it gets them a chance to come back out again. So I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for that. The other thing, being a bus driver for a number of years, we have a yield to bus, but I think the education and the communication of that has sort of waned in the last couple of years, and I'd like to see that increased again. I'd also like to see that on the back corner of the bus, there's a yield sign there, but it wasn't as visible as it should be to get people's attention. And so I think, because a lot of buses lose time simply, and that dwell time as you talk about, getting in and getting out of that stop. So if we can improve that, that'll improve our bus speed and our reliability. So those are just a couple of added things, but overall, thank you for a very good report.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Buchanan.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I couldn't find my raised hand. Thank you very much for the report. I just, on the very last slide, the overview, it just talks about highlight streets with degrees of interaction between transit and goods movement. So is that going to be a further conversation that you're having with local staff just around how we actually look at, goods movement routes, particularly in more compact municipalities where there's not necessarily a lot of opportunity to shift them to, but streets that have, significant bus movement, it's a goods movement route, and it's also highly commercialized. So can you just talk about
Yeah,
what?
absolutely. The vision shouldn't be thought of as kind of a detailed design for the streets. What we've identified is where are the corridors where we know there's high delay, where there is potential for something to happen. And part of the idea of identifying what are those other networks, goods movement and active transportation called out specifically, is we know we need to narrow down to the details at this specific street level. We ask a lot of our streets, and so sometimes it's not possible to do everything, and so I think that would be in the next steps where we start to identify the specific treatments for each street. And you're right, there can be challenges when we get to trying to do everything, and so the intent of this work is to identify what do we need to know to move forward.
Okay, that's helpful because I do think when you don't have a large geographical area, we expect a lot out of the streets, and particularly as we are moving towards putting in active modes and then increasing the bus speed and reliability, and then also, and I've brought up before in terms of looking at particularly around highly commercialized streets in terms of and looking at how do we actually make them more active because people who are on the ground and moving about tend to be shopping and spending money more than just like driving through or on transit and moving through. And so I think it's really important in looking at, does that criteria in terms of speed and reliability, particularly for those highly commercialized streets, are we using the right metrics for those particular streets if there's not a lot of ability to move other modes off of that street as well? And then, so I've brought it up, we can have a further offline, but I think those are really important, particularly as we look at our cities and we're transforming our cities into much more active places and really want people to be out and about and in their local shops and services, but also being able to move efficiently, but perhaps not as fast in some of those areas because there's other things that we have to kind of balance.
If I may, absolutely, Mayor Buchanan, and certainly recognizing that those local high streets and the commercial areas, we want those to be vibrant places. We know that's supportive of transit. We know that many of those people are getting there by transit or by walking or cycling, and that's another to the heavy lifting we ask of some of our corridors. That's another part of it. And I think we also and this will be a good segue to our next item, take a corridor-based approach. And so we recognize that there may be sections of corridors where we're certainly we might experience a lot of delay. We're going to look for opportunities to reduce that delay, recognizing that there's multiple different objectives we're trying to balance, TransLink's trying to balance, municipalities are trying to balance. And then also say, well, maybe there's other sections of the corridor that we can gain time, maybe sections that are not in commercial areas, so we can gain time recognizing that in a particularly constrained congestion section, we're going to have a lot of congestion. And then what we're looking at is the overall time for the whole kind of end-to-end route of what can the total maximum amount of time saved can be, because that's what also helps with reliability and total operational savings.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Seeing no further speakers, someone want to move the motion to receive? Move. Second. All's in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, and finally, we have the bus speed and reliability report, investing in high delay corridors.
Thank you. So this report is a follow-up to the request of the Mayor's Council. As Matt was noting, what we've learned through all of our work on bus delay is that focusing on taking a corridor-based approach can be the most effective gains can be made when you look at a corridor-based approach. And so we have been identifying and have taken an approach to focus on high delay corridors where we can achieve operational savings. And as Matt noted, we're really focused on looking at, where is there lots of delay in places where we see solutions that can be implemented cost effectively with changing lines and changing signs, and in a place where we're working with the willing and we've got a partner who really is motivated to also do those things. And so this, we did it looking at that. And this City of Vancouver and Burnaby identified a real keenness to be a partner. And those are high delay corridors where we think there are some, I don't want to say easy, but implementable solutions. So that's what this, in a nutshell, this report is, but Matt can elaborate a little bit more.
Thanks, Sarah. So we're also reporting back. There was a motion back in October from the Mayor's Council asking us to report back and really to assess our ability to fund bus speed and reliability improvements along high delay corridors. So this is that report back. As we heard in the previous item, we know there's a real cost to delay. With ongoing increases in road congestion, we're spending money every year just to keep service from getting worse. And that's the tune of over $80 million a year. And that keeps increasing by about $2 million every year. The 2024 investment plan included funding and a new approach to addressing this delay with a focus on corridors with the biggest opportunity to see service hour operational savings. So using data from the bus speed and reliability report and our ongoing dashboards, we're working closely with municipal staff and working closely with municipal staff, we've prioritized the first 5 corridors to focus on, seen on the map here. This prioritization included 3 things. We use data. We're looking at, these are corridors that have among the highest delay in the region. But importantly, we also wanted to make sure these are corridors where solutions can be delivered quickly. So working with municipal staff, they identified solutions that we can be implementing in the next 1 to 3 years. And then finally, a principle of working with the willing. So municipalities who have stepped forward, we've been working with through the years on many kind of planning studies leading up to this kind of work, where we've been identifying where are there gaps in priority and where can we start to identify solution. So we expect that investing in these corridors can see the capital investments paid back in operational savings and can be delivered quickly without major infrastructure. So the next steps, with the approval now of the 2024 investment plan, we'll be working closely with Vancouver and Burnaby staff to develop and deliver these projects, closely monitoring and iterating to ensure that we're seeing the benefits realized. We'll report back to the Mayor's Council and to the TransLink Board on progress as needed.
Great. Thank you very much. Any comments, questions on this one? Mayor Paul.
Thank you, Chair, and to the staff. This is really great to see and obviously supportive of making investments in the City of Vancouver where transit delay is severe. Do you have a prioritized list beyond the City of Vancouver once that's completed? And when would that be coming towards any of the Mayor's Council committees or to review?
Yeah. So in the bus speed and reliability report we just saw, there is, we've got a prioritized list of projects listed by passenger delay. That is not necessarily the list that we're doing in order because those other factors and where are there feasible solutions. In some cases, the number one, delay corridor in the region is Broadway. Broadway is not a place where we want to be investing in bus priority today because there's lots of construction still associated with the Broadway subway project, as an example. So yes, we know where the delay is. The next steps, and yes, we'd be happy to be reporting back to the Mayor's Council as we start to identify what are the next kind of phases of projects.
And I guess the follow-up.
Yes, there are outside Vancouver and outside of Burnaby.
Yeah, and for sure. And I mean, I do love to look at the whole system. So that's not a big deal if it's not in the south of Fraser. But I think it would be useful just because sometimes we need to build that political consensus in our communities. So if there was a heads up, say that you did want to put in bus speed and reliability at some point in Langley City, at least we could start those political conversations, even if it's not in the next couple of years. But again, fully supportive of dealing with the severe congestion in the City of Vancouver. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kirby-Young.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I just want to thank staff for the work and the analysis back on this. I think that we are in a situation, as the Chair mentioned earlier, that Certainly, we've got stopgap measures, but this is a very cost-effective way in terms of alleviating pressure on the system. My understanding is that the average trip in rush hour would be 6 to 12% faster and 150,000 hours a year. So when implemented, if you have an operating savings cost annually of $2 million, that's significant and can be reinvested back into pressure points in the rest of the system, which I think is what we're all aiming to achieve. And I think this strategy has been shown to be working because I know when there was some bus stop balancing that happened on routes 4 and 7, and sometimes that's challenging with communities, honestly, because it involves sometimes taking out stops. You're dealing with small businesses, et cetera. And so it's not always a smooth ride, no pun intended, to get through the process of implementation. But that resulted in being able to launch a new express service to the River District, which was identified previously by this body as a sort of deficient area too, intersecting with several municipalities. So I do think it's a good strategy in terms of what we can do within the short term. And I really appreciate the work and the analysis.
Thank you. Director McCutcheon.
Thanks very much for the report. And I definitely see the benefit of sort of taking that whole corridor approach. I'm wondering, though, if you can, and sort of building on Mayor Hall's questions, but if you can talk to the availability of funds now for municipalities that would like to sort of work on smaller pieces as well, because to me, it doesn't have to be an all or one. This is just one report.
Yes, there is that availability of funds both for corridor projects and what we call hotspots. I think the hotspots is around $5 million a year, and it's been an ongoing program we've had. So we've been working and developing projects all around the region with that approach.
And so that's an annual funding program we run, similar to what we have for our bike infrastructure program or the road safety programs. So we put a call out to municipalities, municipal staff, and our teams are talking to municipal staff all the time, and there's definitely a two-way conversation where we're identifying problem areas, identifying some ideas. Municipal staff may be also identifying ideas. We really encourage that. And then we can provide funding in those hotspots. The projects get delivered by the municipality.
Anything further, Director McCutcheon? Okay. Mayor Brody.
I just want to reflect the comments that I made at greater length at committee. I can support these corridors. I just don't think it's a regional approach. I think that there are many corridors outside Vancouver and the one in Burnaby that deserve a lot of attention. Yes. And whether it's south of the Fraser in the east or certainly on the North Shore. I think staff should relook at these and come up with more acceptable corridors to start this project.
Thank you.
If I may, I think perhaps we glossed over mentioning that what our efforts here on this bus speed and reliability program are part of our bigger effort to improve the experience of taking the bus and reduce delay, which we have been implementing through our rapid bus program with corridors around the region, as well, of course, as the flagship bus priority program of them all is our BRT corridors as well. So this is one snapshot and one element of a broader work we do to reduce delay. And we work with municipalities in other ways we can reduce delay too, on rationalizing, making sure that our operations at our layover facilities and our transit exchanges are as efficient as possible, because all of that is about cost to the system.
My point remains, I think that this may be a snapshot, but it's a snapshot with a very narrow focus. And I think the focus needs to be far wider than this, and it should be around the region. Not just in Vancouver. And Burnaby. And a little bit in Burnaby.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Hurley.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank staff for their work. I know they've been working diligently with the Burnaby staff to see improvements to bus travel times. And I think that's moving along rather nicely, and council is fully supportive of those efforts. With that, and thanking staff, I just want to move the recommendation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that'll take us to a motion to adjourn for closed session. Second, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you very much, everyone who came out, and we'll have a brief break here and go in the closed.